Hello Cardfighters, Chris here with Vanguard Central Academy. Welcome back. This is week 2 of the trial deck evolution for the Zodiac timepieces. So again, just like last week, we'll go through the deck first and the upgrades that we did, and then talk about the matches. It was a bit bigger of a tournament this time, so we got more to talk about. Starters the same, kept 2 starters. Having the multi-attacks, getting those 5 attack plays was great, so we kept it as is. Grade 3s are the same. Sorry if those of you have seen the first week, it's not going to be much different. 4 Chrono Dragon G, 4 Chrono Tiger G, 1 Emi to keep Stride consistent. 4 Buffaloes because 11k attacking is good. 4 Monkeys because 21 columns are good, or they're the best we can get right now. 3 10k Vanillas because having that early defense is better than nothing. Lishma is by far the best card in the trial deck. So good, you really want this guy. 4 Jackals because 11k attackers are a lot better now with some of the upgrades we did. And then 4 Perfect Guards, as you would expect. And this is where most of the not really most of the money. Most of the money went into getting split Pegasuses. Those were like $4 each, so like getting 2 really blows the budget for the week. Those of you not familiar, I usually upgrade about $10 each week. So you know, we spent 8-ish of the most of the money 8 on these 2 split Pegasus, and then the rest was on the triggers. Just getting 4 of the boars and then 4 of the sheep stands, but I ended up not using it all the way, so kind of like maybe hurt myself a little bit. So I ended up doing 5 criticals instead of 8 criticals and 4 stands. I switched it to 5 criticals, 3 draw right at the last second because I realized there's no stride fodders in this deck, and so maybe having a little bit extra draws will help us be able to stride a little bit more consistently. And then we have 4 sheeps, and then so that's a new one. If you guys don't know the ability, it basically lets you restand a rear guard by putting him in the soul and putting another rear guard on the bottom. So that's actually pretty good because there's some nice plays you can do with that, which I didn't get to do this week, but I thought about it. I was like, oh, that's a really cool play that I could do, and hopefully it will come up in the final week of Zodiac Time Beast. Obviously we have 4 heals. Strides, only thing we added, we got the 4 Honlongs, the Dismal and Scryu and Agleam, as you remember, and then we just have most of our budget went into these 2 split Pegasuses, which was actually really good. It helped out a lot. It really lets you set up your field the way you want it. So first, there's 2 skills. One is G-Zone face up. He gets +2 to all Zodiac Time Beasts in the front row. That's actually pretty relevant, and I'll show you in a bit. And the other one is Counter Blast 1. You send one of your own rear guards back to the bottom of back to your deck, because you get to call 2 rear guards with a grade lower, which is actually pretty convenient with Time Leap and whatnot, because you can go up and down now. But this is so good for the deck, and I will explain why. Combos are pretty much the same with Huanlong because the main deck didn't change. You still get those 5 attack plays. So usually what I'm doing this week, I use split Pegasus to kind of set up, build some advantage, and then I was like, okay, now they're at like 4 damage, because if they're at 3 5 attack plays, like they're gonna take most of it. But this time they're at 3. I'll use this, build up some advantage, and then switch over into Huanlong and kind of do some pressure plays. So what I did most of the time is I would have like a grade 1, I'll stride this onto Chrono Dragon G, I'll leap it up to grade 2, and then I'll send the 2 back and get 2 1s. And the reason why that's so good is because you can get an 11 attacker or booster as Chrono Jackal. There are several times where I just did that, got 2, and just like 11, 11, 21. So like that's a pretty good way to get 3 attacks off. It's not the best, but you get 1 free card. You +1, and you get your 3 attacks off, is pretty decent. But what's better is you could call one of these, and you can just search out Lishima, which, you know, we've gone over. Lishima is amazing. So you want to hit that, and then from there you can do a 4 attack turn by using Lishima's skill. It's really good. So Split Pegasus has been really good. You can also like take a 2, switch it up into a 3 with Chrono Jet G, and then, you know, go back down into 2 Chrono Claws. You could do a lot of things. Split Pegasus really like opens up the options in the deck by letting you fetch cards much easier and fetch more cards. So it was a really good addition, and next week having the full 4 is going to be really nice. Because not only is it good for like setting up your field and getting all that stuff going, the G-Zone effect where it gets +2 is actually really relevant. And I'll get to see more of this when next week when I have like the 4. Because what I could do is I'll use this, I'll flip one up, get +1 to the front row Zodiac Time Beast. That's really not that useful. But when there's 2 face up, then your 9Ks become 11Ks. So that means the Chrono Claw monkeys, when they use their Seal Counterblast 1, they're getting +5,000, right? So then they're 16 by themselves. So that's actually really important, because if you Lishima into a Chrono Claw, you can hit 16s. I wish I could do like a little bit more, because then I was always sad it was only 2, because if it was 3, then your Chrono Beat Buffaloes will go up to what, 11, 14. They'll make 21s now with your 7K boosters. So when I have the other ones, the second Pegasus Stride is gonna get me. Like I could get a 3, change a 3 into 2 Chrono Beat Buffaloes and have 2 21 columns. Like that's actually pretty decent, especially if you're considering, you know, how little money is being put into like this thing. So you really gotta just take what you can get. But the play I'm most excited for is taking a grade 1, and I want to spin it down into 2 sheeps. We're gonna get 2 sheeps. So we'll go to the first Pegasus, second Pegasus. We're going to go into 2 sheeps. We're going to get +3,000 to our front row because there's 3 face up. And we'll get the Chrono Claw Monkey, and we'll try to stack triggers on it. And then, yeah, we'll just try to stack triggers on it, and then you know, Tidal Assault them, you know, something like that. So that's what I'm hoping to do to people in the 3rd week of the Zodiac Time Beast. So anyway, that is enough of the decks, the combos that were added. Really not a huge change since last week, just because we only really changed the triggers and added 2 Pegasuses, but it did a lot for the deck. You would be very surprised. Alright, so the matchups. Get them on my phone. First one, we played against Luart deck. It had some interesting Revenger engine going on, which didn't quite work out for him. But they just draw too many cards. Like, he's at 3 damage. I try to do like Split Pegasus, get maybe like 4 attacks going there, and then, you know, he can take all of them. If he's at 2, he could like take you know, a side one, take Vanguard. He goes up to like 3 or 4, maybe 5, but then he's Aura Geysering. He goes up to like 10 cards in hand, and there's no way I can push through that. It's just too hard. And then, you know, he has much powerful tools. He can kill my precious Lishima. He's just Carnivore Dragons, and then usually I only have 2 units, so Carnivore Dragon bops me pretty hard. So I lost Lishimas, and I just couldn't push through his hand size. Both games, lost that one 0-2. It's pretty sad. The next game I played against 7 Seas. They were pretty close games. I ended up 1-2. I just rushed as hard as I could, basically, and then put him in a position where he had to like go, you know, spend his resources going aggressive to try to like make up for the difference, and then rather than building up his own hand. So he had a low hand, after like my early rushes and the split Pegasus, and then I could just go ham with Huanlong. So that's how I got my first game, or the one game I won. Oh, so that was 1-1. So it was 1-1, and I went ham. You know, got my Chrono Dragon G's going, got the multi-attacks going, dropped his hand down, and then it ended up going to time, and he got the second game in time, so we're draw, and we're just like, well, let's just rock, paper, scissors. So rock, paper, scissors, I lost it, so counts as a loss there, but we got one win, which is good, because we're already infinitely better than last week, right? You know, 1 is infinitely better than 0. Not bad. So the next, we went on to play an Alfred deck. The Blaster Blade engine is just too good. He was killing our front row. He was calling out Blaster Blades. It was too legit, sword. He was using a legit sword. We were making a lot of jokes about that. Anyway, just totally got out advantage the first game. He had the Alfred guys that like get +5 when you call another unit, and he was just smacking me in the face. I was like, oh my gosh, it's too much. So I just kind of rolled over and died on that one. And then I got one game. The second game I played a little bit smarter. I had a G in hand, so I used that to get rid of his booster that gained 7k, so he wasn't able to push me as hard. And then he ended up having to take one of my Vanguard attacks. I got that young double crit. So kind of stole that one, but it is what it is. Let's put the shiny. Where's the shiny one? Put the shiny ones. I don't have a shiny one. I thought. Oh, it is a shiny one. Nice. The 2 shinies. There's not. It wasn't too many things. Like, it was nice because knowing that the deck is pretty reliant on those +5Ks. I could leap into Chrono Tigers and pop the back row, and then kind of like poke at his front row, trying to like balance things out a little bit. But the Blaster Blades, they are just too good. Like the restanding, the Fogel, it was too much for me. The free cards from Altmaz eventually overpowered me. Ended up losing that 1-2. So we got 2 games under our belt. And granted, one was a double crit when he couldn't guard it, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. And then the 4th round we played, I was surprised we got to 4 rounds. 4th round we played against Tashikaze Gaias. It was similar to the Wiseman I played against in week 1, where basically I was trying to be as aggressive as possible, trying to multi-attack him down, like set up my field with split Pegasus, and just go ham, but every time. And so the reason for that is because the Gaia build needs a lot of cards in hand. They need cards on field to be able to use their skills. So if you're aggressive, then you can kind of whittle them down and force them to guard with them before they can use them. But one game it worked. I abused the crap out of Lishima. That was the first game. I just got 3 attacks every turn. Since like grade 2, and I didn't really have to commit anything. I just had Lishima, and I was like, I'm okay discarding one of my own cards just to get another attack on him, because that means he has less cards too. So that was my idea. Even if he guards it, it's less cards, and if he doesn't, then he's an extra damage, and that's even better for me. So he learned from that first game, and he started using Gigasaurus, the Amber clone, to pop my Lishima, and that made me really sad. And it slowed me down just enough where he could go into Gaia on his second stride, and that won him. The Gaia stride, that's so good. The restanding, the 36 restanding with 5 drive stacks, so that the guy Gluttony Dogma ended the game for me both times, similar to how the Wiseman got to loop on second stride. Hit second stride, we lost. Quite unfortunate, but I'm looking forward to the next week. We got some plays we want to try out that I mentioned, to like Pegasus into Sheep, into restanding, try to cheese people. That should be really exciting. And yeah, that's about it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed me talking about the matches and the upgraded deck. Just as a recap, we just changed the triggers and we added Split Pegasus right there. Definitely made an improvement. I mean, we won 3 games, played 4 rounds, won 3 games. That's pretty good, like considering that we played 2 rounds last time and won no game, so we're already doing better. Even if you like take the worst average, right? You know, we played like this, the 1 loss and the 1 win. That's still 1 win over the other one. So I'm very happy with the changes I made. Hopefully the upgrades next week will let us sneak a whole match win. We want to get at least 2-1 on an opponent. So stay tuned for the next week. We'll get that up to you soon, or I'll get that up to you soon. Thanks for watching. Shout out to the patrons on Patreon for supporting the content. Head over to Patreon and click the orange P when the end step comes up if you want to help support the channel. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. Comment down below if you have any questions, any comments, your thoughts on Zodiac Time Beasts. What cards you would have added, what cards you might add in the next week, how you guys think I'm doing. Make sure you're subscribed for more content, obviously, for next week. You want to see that if you're not subscribed, don't you? Don't you? And yeah, keep on learning, keep on having fun. And I'll see you in another video.